Okay, back to he was a supply officer.
The supply officer was the guy I had to see. Man, I gotta have some shoes. And he said, well, I'll sure look when I go over there. And he would go over with a crew that would go to the supply ship. He would give them the list of the stuff that we need. This crew that went along with him would go down into the bowels of this supply ship with a big cargo net on there, and they would load everything that we're going to need, and the cargo net would come over and go over and put it down in our small boat, run it back to our ship. If he needed 2 trips, he'd do 2 trips. But he wasn't getting me anywhere. All he'd do is come back and say, they didn't have a thing, they didn't have a thing. And I'm dying. So I volunteered to go on one of the work cruises to go over there. And we get on the supply ship, and we go down into the bottom there where the cargo nets are, and we load our stores and everything. And it's usually about a half hour from the time they run up that net, take it over, put it in our boat, run it out to the ship and back, and then they're ready for another load. So during that half hour, I start going around this ship, looking everywhere. And I wasn't getting much either, but finally, I went into this one hatch, I undone it, on this hatch and swung it open, and it was like a dream. A pile of shoes, a big, massive pile of shoes. They were high tops, these Army or Marine high tops, you know. And I get in there and I'm starting digging. They're tied by the laces. They're not in boxes or anything. And I'm digging around. Finally, I picked this one up here, and they're 14s. Now, how am I going to get them off of the ship? So I just take them and I go up out of this area and I sneak in behind one of the big smokestacks on this thing. There's like a hollow back in there. And I take off my tennis shoe and I slip that one on, and it's just perfect. So I take both tennis shoes off and I throw them over the side. I'm going to wear these off. I try to put the other one on, and they were both left shoes. And now my other ones are gone. I got one left shoe. So I go back down.
Are you in panic mode yet?
I'm panicking. In fact, I took...
He's got a bag he's breathing into.
Yeah, I got this one shoe on and I'm carrying the other one. So I go back down and I get in this, and nobody bothered me in there at all. I close that hatch and nobody's bothering me. And I dig through that stack again and I find some rights. So I take one of the rights, I put it on and threw the other left that I had there, and I wore them off the ship. But I thought sure that if they caught me down there, they're going to take those off and then I have nothing. But to have them both be lefts, I don't know how they were tied like that.
Maybe we'll walk around in circles the rest of your life.
And to think that the government trusted you with secret things and you're stealing shoes from them.
Yeah, I stole from them.
No, that's all right.
Now, first guy I saw was a supply officer. I went up there and I showed them those shoes and I said, you just didn't try hard enough.
What did he say?
He didn't say much because he couldn't say much. On a destroyer, you got about 300 people, and you know everybody except the machinist mates. They're already down below and you don't see them. But everybody above decks, you know them. So you can get away with talking to an officer without any, unless he's a real asshole, you know.
Yeah.
But
absolutely,
it works out pretty good on a ship like that with maybe 12 officers in there, and the rest are all enlisted men. But that was a story. And there was one other story I didn't tell you. When I was at Camp Bradford, Virginia, and Little Creek, Virginia, training on those LSD.
Landing vehicles.
When I was there, I had a pair of these Navy high tops, and they were good. And they had to think of something for you to do every day, because you know, at night when you stood watch, you had to count the light bulbs and measure the oil and all that, which was ridiculous. But you had to do it every hour on this 4-hour watch. But I didn't have anything to do one day, and they said, just climb in the truck here. I'll assign you some work on this base. It was on Little Creek. Truck us out there in the middle of this big grinder where we trained. And the dust was real bad. So they want to shovel lime on this thing to get the dust down. And I'm one of the people they picked to do that. So they had boots and everything that you could, rubber boots you could put on, but nothing to fit me. So the guy who was in charge of it, I said, look, I can't wear the boots because they don't fit me. He thinks I'm just trying to screw off and I don't want to get out there. He said, get up in the truck anyhow. So here are my good shoes. I had to get up in that truck full of lime. And
sounds like you're in the Army.
Huh?
Sounds like you're in the Army.
I know.
And I'm shoveling out the line, you know, spraying it out, and going. That stuff had eaten into my shoes. By the time I was done, it was already working out on the stitching, you know, all the way around. Within a few hours, that thing was flopping.
Mm-hmm.
So now I don't have any shoes. Next.
It seems to be a recurring chain of events.
A lot of people just are worried about coming back alive. He's worried about having
My
shoes.
shoes.
So the next day, we hear we're going to have an inspection, and we need to wear these shoes. And I don't know what the hell I can do. I ain't going to take those out there because they're shot. I can't wear them. So I go to the officer who was in charge of our group, and I told him what my sad story was. And he says, well, yeah, he said, you got to have some shoes on when you stand an inspection like this. Some Commodore, I think was. And I said, well, I got to have some shoes. And he takes me to the supply officer, and the supply officer said, I can't satisfy anything right now. He said, I could write him a check to go in town and buy some shoes, you know, or something like that. So that's what he did. He gave me a chip that I could use to buy some shoes. Well, you don't buy any Navy shoes out there my size anyhow. So I'm looking and looking and looking. I finally find a pair of wingtips that fit.
Yeah.
And I went ahead and used the tip for that and came back. They were black, you know, and they were sort of like...
Black and serviceable.
But they had the little holes in them,
Yeah.
you know, and a nice wingtip. So the next morning we're out there standing inspection, and this guy's coming down the ranks, and he doesn't say anything to anybody except the guy who's taking the notes back here. And he comes, and the way he works it, he looks at the guy's face, and he goes on like this, all the way to the feet, and he goes over to the feet, and comes all the way to the face, and that's his routine. Well, he comes down the face to the guy next to me, and he comes over to my shoes, and he stops. And I bet he looked there for 15, 20 seconds. Couldn't believe somebody was dumb enough to wear those shoes. And then he came up to my face, and he says, what's with the shoes? And I hand him this note that I got a chip to buy these off base. And he looks at that thing, and he looks at my shoes again. He hands it back to the guy here and didn't say a word. Just went on down the line.
Yeah.
But I thought I was going to really catch it there.
It sounds like I'm glad I joined the Air Force. We didn't have to shovel lime or that Army stuff. Now we had our fair share of stupid stuff.
And with a name like
We just had
Youngstrom,
to
you
dig
were always...
holes.
Nobody really forgets
Always at the
that.
end.
It's always like, you're always at the end, and everybody's always like, oh, that's an interesting name.
Yeah.
I'm not going to forget you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, any other tales of woe?
Missouri.
No, that runs through my military career, I think. I can't think of anything offhand. There were other incidents, but one of them was, well, it's worth talking about, I guess, when we were at Iwo Jima and we missed this kamikaze. When we took off with a couple of battleships and carriers to go to Okinawa. And as we're easing out, somebody launches a torpedo at one of the battleships.
You mean a sub?
Yeah.
Yeah.
After we were out away from Iwo Jima. And we're surrounding that ship pretty well with a picket line.
What battleship was that? You know?
I think it was the Pennsylvania, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Same one that saved our butts.
Yeah.
When something like that happens, if you're in position, you're going to take it.
Take it for the team?
You're going to take it for the team. But our captain was pretty shrewd. It was sighted a pretty good distance. And he maneuvered the ship in line with that thing to where it hit a glancing blow, hardly felt it. He went at it and just glanced off and redirected it away from the
So he saved his ship and...
and all we had was a dent in the side, a small one.
So the fuse didn't go off.
Pretty cool.
That's, yeah.
But that one was almost forgettable because it wasn't a hit.
Did you ever get a chance to shoot at any planes?
Shoot it? Oh yeah, but you never, with everybody shooting at them, you know, you don't know who got them.
It's just a big cloud of lead.
Everybody's going at them, but I know I was right on target on some of them, and they did go down, but 2 or 3. I mean, your own ship is all going.
Everybody, yeah, it's like a firestorm.
It's not that you can say, I did this today.
You know, not today. They have 20mm Vulcan cannons that are radar guided,
Mm-hmm.
With
and they
phalanx.
can, so they can shoot missiles down. They can shoot.
You know how loud those are?
Yes.
I was underneath one. I was about from here to Overwise away from one, and they did a test fire in Iraq, and it's just like, but it's just like an explosion, but it's just like long. It's
Right.
so loud.
It's like fireworks that don't end.
Yeah, and they just shot it off, and it's just like a big stream of orange goes flying out.
Well, we loaded our magazines. The magazine on a 20mm is a round thing like this.
Right.
That you just put it on and rack it in. And every fourth round was a tracer. So you could follow what you were shooting.
Mm.
You did have a reticle on a sight that did, it built in the lead of what you were shooting at.
Mm-hmm.
But on top of that, you had the tracer fire.
Yeah,
which you could see whether you were getting in there.
It's kind of like you shoot a machine gun. You're looking down at some sight. It's like, you know, you gotta
Well, it's like the
look
M4.
at where it's going.
It's like the M4, you know, this is what you're issued now. You've got a switch on it where you got semi-automatic, but you can also switch to where, you know, it's fully automatic.